Hello, and welcome to the Spec Shaman Podcast, a show that explores the world of building product manufacturers, architects, and engineers, sustainable design, and technology and trends. We engage in thought-provoking discussions with renowned experts, industry pioneers, and visionaries who are making a significant impact in the construction industry. Join us as we explore groundbreaking ideas, revolutionary concepts, and the latest advancements shaping the built environment. The Spec Shaman Podcast is hosted by Laura Elliott, the lead instructional designer at Ron Blank and Associates. Laura is a seasoned interviewer with a passion for uncovering the untold stories behind success. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Let's get started.
I am here with Jeff Surovi, the architectural sales manager with Keylink Fencing and Railings, and I am really excited about today's podcast with you. I first met Jeff about a year ago when we were working on a project for his wonderful company, and he was just immediately charismatic, and I put him on the short list of people to interview for this podcast. So Jeff, welcome. I'm so glad to have you.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you for the nice words. I appreciate that. It's very enjoyable to work with you as well during that process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we share common roots. He is from Pennsylvania, and I used to live about 5 minutes from the border, so it was immediate familiarity. And so I know that you have had an illustrious career. You know, you've been in this industry for quite a long time, and I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about how you got started and how you ended up where you are now.
Well, Laura, I grew up in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and Bethlehem, Pennsylvania was the home, or the former home, I should say, of the Bethlehem Steel Corporation. In fact, my father, his father, grandfather, my father-in-law, many aunts and uncles all worked for the Bethlehem Steel Corporation. And it was just a given that you go to school, graduate from college, and join the Bethlehem Steel Company. And 30 years later, you get a gold watch and a pension and live happily ever after. Well, needless to say, when I graduated from college, that dream did not come to fruition. As I noted here, my balloon kind of popped. I always had an interest in architecture, construction. Never really had anything structure-wise related to that. My college background was business administration, but I kind of got a sideways start into the retail lumber business. Started at 84 Lumber, as many of the colleagues, lumber associates and others in the industry had a start at 84 at one point. Shortly after that, I moved over to a retailer where I had spent about 2.5 years working for a very large lumber retailer in central New Jersey. From there, transitioned from that retail operation to a wholesaler in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, where we were residing at the time. And spent about almost 26 years there. And that large wholesaler that I worked for was involved in the Anderson window business. And from that, I kind of gravitated towards the window business, where I spent nearly 39 of my 40 years in this business or more in the window business. I really enjoyed that. Got to become somewhat of an industry expert, if I may, in the window and door industry. And spent quite a few memorable projects and the like over the years doing that. So
that's awesome. You know, fenestration is a really great field to be in, and windows and doors definitely are integral in the design process. What could you say inspired you to get started in the A&C industry?
Well, working for the wholesaler, it was a wholesaler that was really on the upswing. This goes back into the mid-1980s, and a lot of different opportunities were presented to me. One of the things that they had looked at for me, coming from the retail side, was they didn't have anybody in-house on that side of the business, from that side of the business. So they asked me to provide some insight to how the retailer thinks and what they look for. Shortly thereafter, there was an opportunity to go out on the road for them as what they called at the time the promotional manager, director, whatever, and set up the trade shows. And then very shortly after that, an opportunity became available because a colleague had left as the architectural sales consultant for this company and representing Anderson and the other products. I asked for the opportunity. I was gifted the opportunity and spent 8 years in the field, and at that point, mid to late '90s. At that point, Anderson had asked the company I had worked for to create a commercial division, and they selected me as the manager. We kind of grew that for 4 or 5 years. I had multiple branch responsibilities. Relocated in Bethlehem, had a facility in Seattle, Washington. Also had a facility up in Syracuse, New York, Liverpool, New York, and I had the opportunity to support those two branches. And it was very exciting. Much like two-step distribution at that point for Anderson started to come to an end. They started to go direct into the marketplace as to instead of using a two-step distribution model, and our position with Anderson was phased out, and had the opportunity, because I had made great inroads in that time, to take over a couple of other positions until I left a few years later.
So growth is something that I keep hearing in this,
Yes.
your responses. Is that something that really excites you about the industry, is the opportunities to continue to grow?
Yes, I agree. And change. I mean, it's been exciting. I mean, the growth opportunities in this industry are always there. Sometimes you have to look for them. Sometimes they fall upon your lap. Sometimes it's ones you're not looking for. It's just they're always there. They're just, you have to be engaged and work your way through those. Find those opportunities to embrace.
That is definitely something I noticed, is that development and bringing new ideas to the table is something that's often welcomed within these fields. And it's really cool to see those ideas and those changes get put into fruition. So when you are talking about growth, you are currently with KeyLink. How does your company now innovate and stay ahead of the curve in the industry?
Well, good question. One of the things that we're a very small company in the grand scheme of things in the railing business. There's some real big national giants, and we're working very hard to grow our presence. And one of the things that we're doing, and we're on the cutting edge of some new products and some new ideas. One of the key elements of our growth is focusing on product as we enter into the marketplace that already meets the current code. And code compliancy is a big charter opportunity for us, and part of our charter, I should say, and creating new product and working with the engineers and the product teams. It's just a lot of fun. So we spend a lot of time on that. The ideation, the product innovation. I just chatted with one of the product manager yesterday, looking at his workflow sheet for the coming months, and just some of the products that are listed on there, and having some dialogue. I'm proud to say of the 8 or 10 product list items on that list, a couple of them I had given him to put on the list for further delineation and thought, and working with the engineers. I'm kind of excited about that.
Yeah, that's definitely a through line, the development process, and seeing something be built from design forward to being put into homes or into commercial spaces is really wonderful. When we're talking about the future of building products and their evolution, what role do you believe your company will play in that evolution?
Providing product that is determining what is needed in the market and providing a solution for that need. Sometimes contractors, oftentimes we hear, I've been doing this for so long, this is the way I do it. And part of the fun of the product ideation process is developing new ways, new materials, new thought processes on how to bring product to market. Our product is designed with the end user in mind, and the end user, the installer in particular. It could be a contractor, it could be a homeowner, of various skill sets, but thinking about how they're going to install this product, that it's easy, that everything's complete, and the like. So that's very important for us in that process, in the process of developing new product, how it's going to be used, and the like. So
yeah, the usability component is huge. when we were developing your course, I remember that we looked into the history of railings, right? And the
Yes,
evolution of those products over time. And, when we're looking at even things like the glass railings where you can see the skyline, or you can see a coastal view in a beautiful, spectacular way, or a mountainside. That usability is not just, performative in creating a railing, but it's allowing someone to take in the landscape in such a beautiful way. Um,
correct.
and those designs and developments are really awesome. When you are looking at areas within the construction industry or the design industry, are there places where you believe that they're ripe for disruption or a transformation in how we do things?
I really think the use of technology is fascinating right now. We're just really scratching the surface with AI, as it's known today, artificial intelligence, and I'm excited to see where that's going to take us in the next several years and beyond in this industry, not only for fencing around, but just in building materials itself and design development. It's very interesting. I don't think you're ever going to take the human touch out of that process, because I think that's critical. But artificial intelligence, some of the other software programs, just CAD, where it's at today, the BIM and Revit file process, we're just going to be starting that very soon. We're creating we're just joined another platform to get our products out there, and excited about the opportunities that's going to present us and the learning opportunities for myself as well. So really excited about the transformations of those technologies it's going to offer us.
It's a wonderful time. I really think I agree with you on that. I was talking with a colleague recently about how we're the troubleshooting generation, right?
Yes.
I think I don't think you need to create an age delineation on that at all. I think you can just broaden it. Every single person that's in the workforce right now is experiencing the troubleshooting of all of these new technologies. And you're right, CAD has exponentially changed since 10 years ago. Like
Yes.
those changes are remarkable, and they're very much in process. That's the thing that I've had some takeaways with some software designers, and they have talked about how, yes, we are here and that is a dream come true, but it can go so much farther and be so much more effective. And those transformations, I think, are ever evolving. And we just get to.
It's exciting. It really is. I'm just
Yeah.
watching how our teams work here together, and the product ideation, and being able to sit into some of those meetings. You have these young engineers that are coming out of school, and they're given a task or an idea, and X number of weeks or months later, we're called into an ideation meeting, and these young engineers present their ideas and their products, and I just sit there going, "Wow, that's really cool!" And
Yeah.
it just neat the way they're able to solve the problem with the technology that they have at their fingertips, and the materials and the 3D printing, and it's really just really fun to watch.
I definitely agree. The conceptualization is really heightened in a way that I don't think it ever has been. Do you think that will lend itself to addressing some of the challenges that you might face in the manufacturing process? Are there other ways to overcome them?
Certainly. I mean, our systems are all integrated from the design all the way through to the manufacturing. One of the unique things about our company and the history of our company, and more about the culture of our company, we're located in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. It's predominantly Pennsylvania. We locally call Pennsylvania Dutch, so Amish and Mennonite families and the communities around us. Very hands-on, very intuitive on how they create. They're always problem solving. In fact, many of the machines and equipment that we use in our facilities today, in our different scattered site facilities today, have actually been created by our own teams. They saw a need, and they went back to the drawing board and created the solution using materials that we had or procured to create the specialized rollers or specialized racks and handling. And in fact, if you were ever to take a tour of our facility, certain items are painted a particular color, and that indicates that it was actually made in-house. And then it's just fascinating. I mean, it just ways to solve the problem. We're as vertically integrated as we can be in our manufacturing facility, and we're still on a journey to become further vertically integrated. We're looking at new processes to bring in-house. Again, it's really about controlling the quality assurance, quality control of the materials received in and the products manufactured and sent out. And that whole process is very, very important to us.
Yeah, you mentioned Lancaster, and that was one of the immediate things that we connected on. I grew up, my grandfather was a dentist about 30 miles from Lancaster, and I grew up with the Amish coming to his practice. He was their dentist. I think he was the dentist for most of the Amish community up there. And I'll never forget those early memories of the buggies. And
that's neat. Yeah.
Yeah.
And still today, it's not unusual at any given time of the day. We'll have a horse-drawn buggy on the main street by our one of our facilities, or we'll have to, always out and about. And it's a very vibrant community, and it's really neat because it's fascinating to me because it's woven into how we go about doing our business day to day. And that's after spending so many years in industry and having many different opportunities. It's really refreshing, and it makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah, that 222.
Exactly. Thank you.
Some of the best picturesque, like a puzzle. Those puzzles that you do when it's cold outside and you just need a hot cup of coffee and you're gonna sit for a while. That's exactly what it looks like up there, and it's a beautiful, beautiful place. So I know you mentioned earlier about how the younger designers and engineers are coming in and just kind of like reconceptualizing things and problem solving in a way that's really profound. What advice would you give to young professionals who are interested in entering into that field or into the construction and design industries?
One of the things that I had the opportunity to have that question asked of me, I would respond by just saying, getting involved, developing a network of peers that you can or mentors that you can work with. I was very fortunate early on in my career. I had a mentor that worked with me in that distribution back in the Anderson distribution days, and the lessons I was taught at the time still resonate with me today. And it's just simple things. It's just about taking a half a step back and thinking about what outcome you want or what the problem is and the like. And I've shared some of those words of wisdom. I refer to them as Taylorisms, but they were very important in my early career that I was able to learn from him and then now today share that. But finding a mentor, and I'm talking with one of my sons, and he's launching into a new career himself right now. And I highly suggested to him that he reach out to his peers and his mentor and find a mentor that he could speak with about the industry that he's in right now. And I know that he's working on that, and that's my wisdom to him. But definitely that. And beyond that, I think what's critical today, and I don't see it so much, is becoming involved in a trade organization. I've been active, and this goes back to my early years in distribution. Once I had become the architectural sales consultant, I think that was the title at the time. I was introduced to the Construction Specifications Institute, and they have local chapters and still do throughout the country. The chapter I belong to then and still today is the Greater Lehigh Valley chapter. And in fact, this weekend, in fact, we're celebrating the chapter's 60th anniversary. We're probably one of the top three to five oldest chapters in the country for CSI. CSI celebrating their 75th year.
Oh, wow.
as an organization this year, and we're celebrating our 60th. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I've been involved with it over 30 years now, and the architects and the vendors and the manufacturers reps that I started off with, we're now we're the old guard, as it would be. It's kind of neat, and I don't see a lot of young folks coming in, guys,
Yeah.
but folks coming into the chapters. It's busier today. I get it. I just recommend that for a young professional, whether it's from the design professional side of the industry or a manufacturer's rep or manufacturer himself, just get involved with an organization. It could be CSI, like I had suggested, maybe a local AIA chapter or a builders organization, or even ABC, which is out there. Just find a group that you can involve yourself with, network, and become part of that organization. It gives you greater visibility on what's going on in the market. You develop lifelong friends and colleagues, and it's just a great way to go.
No, that's foundational advice right there. Mentorship is so instrumental, I think, in helping guide the process of becoming a true professional. And those chapter organizations, becoming a part of that's really key, especially when you're considering networking and even marketing and promoting your building products. How do you approach, is that like a key for you when you approach marketing and promoting your building products to design professionals? Is that helpful? Or are there other key ways that you like to start that?
Well, it's evolved quite a bit since I first made my first architectural call back in 1990 to today. It's changed just a little bit. I recall, vividly, making update calls and going from office to office with my catalog updates, and if a new piece of literature, and if you can get a few minutes, back then, you were the contact, or I was the contact between that the architect or design professional had between me and the manufacturer. Today, with the use of the internet and so on and so forth, it's available 24/7, not just as it would be. So again, I caution the design professionals that while the information is available 24/7, it can be interpreted or used incorrectly, so that they really should align themselves or reach out to the manufacturers to learn more about the product or proper application of the materials, and whether it's, again, back to my fenestration days or currently in my fencing and railing days. I mean, we have to be very careful about selecting, proper selection of materials and applications and installation details and all that. So it's very important for the design community to reach out to the trusted reps that they know and leverage that knowledge.
Yeah, over at RBA, we're a champion of that. That's a key factor, I think, in successful design. That relationship between the building product manufacturers and the design professionals is instrumental in really being successful. Absolutely.
And one of the things that was important to me then, as it is now, is as an architectural sales consultant, or as my current role, sales manager, I'm not here to sell an architect anything. A product, or a service. I'm here to have that conversation about what their needs are, what their clients' needs are, and then be able to find out if I have the product or products that meet that's criteria. And I could go back over the years and think some of the best projects some of the projects that I looked at, and some of the best ones are the ones I never got, because they weren't the right fit for our product at the time. And when you tell the architect that, you kind of give them an aha moment where they say, hey, this guy really has my interest in mind, and that he's not just about selling. I've never received a purchase order from an architect. It's usually the general contractor or what have you, but architects are not writing purchase orders. So you just have to give them the right information. And it's very important to do that because, a wrong specification, material or otherwise, you can really create a liability for the architect, the contractor, the building owner. You can turn into a very litigious situation. And I think back to a colleague friend of mine, an architect friend of mine, did a very large window job with a product that he was unfamiliar with, and they basically sold him a bill of goods, and boy, they ended up it was a multi-million-dollar lawsuit, as I recall.
Sure.
This goes back years and years ago. So it's very important that you represent your product honestly and just become a trusted advisor. I think that term's not used enough.
Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely the case, integrity in what you're sharing, because really you're an educational resource, on the products, and that doesn't always mean that they're going to fit the design, but you have the opportunity to share the knowledge that you do have, and that doesn't mean that two projects down the road they might come back to you because that product that you're giving the knowledge on fits the design. So
exactly.
I think that's it's always an opopportunity for transparency, not overselling.
Agreed. 100%. And it's that is the keystone of what makes a manufacturer's rep or an architectural sales rep the best. Just having the interest of others in mind, and not the bottom line. Yeah, not the interest of the company you work for, but obviously the interest of who's going to be using the information that you're providing.
Are there any other challenges to getting your product specified? So say it is a good fit, and you're still meeting a challenge. What kind of challenges might you face, and how do you overcome them?
Well, one of the biggest challenges I had coming on board with Keylink, and it was an interesting pathway to Keylink. Several of the folks I work with today, I had worked with in the past in my window and door days. And in fact, the vice president of sales and marketing here, Tim Smoyer, Tim was actually one of my customers back in the 90s. And today he's vice president of Keylink, and we just happened to know each other, and we worked together at another company. And Drew Lebo, our director of business development, the three of us were kind of joined at the hip in a previous life. And I got a phone call about not quite 2 years ago, a year and a half or more ago, and they had, just come on down for a visit, and one thing led to another, and well, here I am. So when I first joined Keylink, had a desire to grow architecturally, commercially, light commercial, getting into the multifamily space and some of the other things. And I had to take a look at what they were currently doing. And they were platformed on a website called ARCAT. We still are today. The information was put up there more with a marketing look as opposed to a architectural look. So I will kind of clean that up, get current literature, still working through some of the drawings and specifications. Looking at some of the other opportunities, and the biggest opportunity I saw for Keylink was getting in front of the design professionals with a continuing education program, and that's where Ron Blank came into the picture, and I'm so grateful for that. It was very interesting. I've given, I don't know, I'll say 1,000 presentations over my career, at various stages, different opportunities in my life, but they were always presentations that were given to us, and we had the opportunity to kind of tweak them as we saw fit. But working with you and Andre and the team and our team here in support, that was overwhelming at times for me, at least. Again, because I'm kind of perfectionist, and I know working with our team here and marketing and Melanie Hess in particular. I finally said to her one day, I said, Melanie, I just got to pull the Band-Aid off. We're ready to go with this, and let's go. And that was fun, and recording it and the like. And we're looking forward to us. Been tasked with the opportunity, creating the opportunity for another presentation next year, and I'm looking forward to starting that again. So a lot of fun things. So Ron Blank is really helping us, get the recognition. that we needed in the AEC community. We've been very successful year to date. We track how many architects have taken the course, whether it's through the online portal that you provide us, or whether it's a virtual or in-person presentation that I'm involved with. I think year to date, we went live, I'm going to say the last week of January. And through September, we've had well over 1,000, almost 1,100 impressions already.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
And it's just mind blowing. And we've done one webinar. I have another webinar scheduled, and looking forward to scheduling several next year, because we're certainly seeing the benefit of that. We do a really neat job with working with our marketing team. We take the data that's provided through Ron Blank, and we send out thank you letters in the form of an email, and just do a light touch and just let them know that we appreciate the time, and if they have any requests for additional information, how they can get that, and through social media or what have you, or our websites. And it's been a lot of fun, and I'm grateful for that opportunity to create that, and I'm looking forward to doing the next one, as well as looking into other platforms to get our products out there. As I mentioned before, we're going to start a new one very soon.
No, and thank you for your kind words. We really enjoyed the project with you, for sure. Some of the most beautiful photographs to date. And a great team to work with also. And there was really great content, to deliver. So that's, for us, it's really rewarding when we know we're helping to facilitate great connections between the two industries.
Right.
So that's great news to hear.
Yes, it is. And I have nothing but positive responses from the opportunities that we've been presented, and look forward to more.
Yes, absolutely. On to the next course, right?
Yeah, on to the next course. Hopefully we can partner again, you and I.
Yeah, that'd be great. So when we're talking about an industry secret, right, and your personal philosophy, I think that you've really touched on some great points: mentorship and networking, and maintaining integrity in your interactions. Is there a personal philosophy that you like to orient your work around, and how does it help to frame what it is that you do?
One word: honesty. And be truthful, be sincere, be honest, and that, as I mentioned before, realizing that the information you're providing, that design professional, could be an architect, engineer, an interior designer, if it's going to be used on a project that's specified incorrectly, it creates a liability, and you owe them as a trusted advisor to steer them in the right direction. And again, that's honesty about that, and not only honesty with them, but honesty with the people you work with internally. One of the interesting, not so many interesting, but it's part of our fiber here at Keylink, and our sister companies as well. One of my colleagues, every company has core values and the like, and one of my colleagues had stated this in an interview process a couple months ago, but he said, our core values are more than just words on a poster. We live them every single day. And that kind of ties into honesty. And our core values are very simple. It's value people, serve the customer, whether it's the internal or external customer, serve that customer, rise to the challenge, and do the right thing. And all of that tied together allows us to be better for the others that we're engaged with.
Yeah.
So it just all kind of comes together at the end, for me personally in my career, that it's just a certain comfort about that, and knowing that that's how we roll.
Yeah.
It's just there's a peace about that. A certain peace about that.
No, and centering yourself to doing the right thing is really important in the way that the building industries are rapidly changing, right? Because there's this kind of transition period that's happening where shifts are occurring, and making sure that you maintain those values in the center of what you're doing, I think is really instrumental in kind of keeping a compass, so to speak,
right,
as the shifts change. Do you notice any specific shifts that are impacting the way that you conduct business?
Well, I know in several of the other conversations you have had, it's been labor force development, and
Mm,
the one that was just recently spoken about with the career and technical education
yeah.
portion. I found that fascinating. In fact,
Mhm.
I want to share that with our HR team here, because I just thought it was very interesting. It ties into what we're doing now. Again, the community that we're based out of, the Lancaster County community.
Mhm.
It's so we have a great work ethic here. We have a great supply of labor, but it's still always a challenge to keep that going. There's the trades are um, whether you go in the field or you go in the manufacturing facility, people today, and I think it was mentioned, it's not the old dusty, dirty steel mill that
Mhm.
that was 20, 30, 40 years ago. It's, you have clean rooms, you have all kinds of scientific and,
Mhm.
computer equipment. Yeah, there's some other types of equipment that
Yeah.
get dirty, but it's just fascinating to see that today. And
Mhm.
there's trades out there that need to be filled, and there's
Mhm.
quality of people that just need to realize that there's no stigma attached to working with your hands in a factory setting, or in a contractor setting, being an electrician, a plumber, a builder, what have you.
Mhm.
It's really good. One of the things that was fascinating to me is going back to my CSI chapter, the Greater
Yeah.
Lehigh Valley chapter. One of the colleagues I have there, a father of four daughters, and he was came up with an idea, because he was like, what can I do with these kids during the summer? So using his connections through our chapter and around, we had at the time an educator that had worked with us, a high school teacher, and they created a program. It was called, and we still run it. We're in our 7th or 8th year now that we've sponsored it. It's called the Let's Build Camp for Girls. So
Oh,
one week during the
wonderful.
summer, uh, the chapter itself gets together, and we all chip in and help in a variety of different ways, whether it's your time, your treasure, your talent. We all kind of chip in and do
Yeah.
different things. And I've donated things for my companies and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But we teach girls just to have fun with building. They'll build stud walls, and on the outside they'll put
Mhm.
siding on them, and
That's so fun.
install a window. On the inside they'll run some
Mhm.
electricity and some plumbing, and put drywall and paint, and they get to experience things that are kind of outside what their normal thought process
Mhm.
would be, and it's
Mhm.
really engaging. The program opens up probably usually by May, beginning of May. We start taking reservations for it, and it's because the last week of June, and
Mhm.
20 spots, and it's filled literally overnight.
I
Uh,
bet it is.
the program has been so successful. Our chapter has actually the program has actually taken on a separate life within our
Mhm.
chapter, and been organized and the like. And now they're I'll use the term franchising it. We're not making any
Oh,
money
I
off it,
bet.
but teaching other
Yeah.
chapters and other organizations to do the
Yeah.
same thing. So just workforce development is kind of neat, and especially
Yeah.
with the girls. I'm a girl dad too. I have three older daughters, and they didn't have that opportunity. I
Yeah.
think they would have, one or two of them would have probably have enjoyed doing that.
Yeah.
Maybe all three. I don't know.
Yeah. No,
Sure, I'll hear about it when they listen to the podcast.
they're going to be like, which one did you think didn't didn't should have been interested?
Yes, exactly.
Never tell.
Yeah, I'm gonna get myself in trouble. Yes.
Yeah. 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 No, I agree. That's a through line, I think, in every conversation I have is, making sure that we really develop the skilled workforce and create opportunities for everyone to
Yes.
gain exposure to it through really great programming for students. And you're right. I shout out to Brad Benedict and what he's doing and bringing in that VR technology
Fascinating.
to
Yeah.
introduce the trades to K through 12 spaces. And also, like, the manufacturer retention issue is just such a wonderful program and really creative way to do some problem solving. So I'm glad that you listened to the conversation on that. I think it
was fascinating, especially just what he's doing and the need that he had seen and how he's solving that.
Yes. Yeah. No, they're
just fascinating to me.
They're doing great work, and
yes, they are.
There's more work to be done, and I think there's a growing call to action that's developing through this podcast in that regard. And it's nice to see it being received. There's not anybody that I've met so far that's been like, oh no, that's not an issue that really matters. And
even in our industry, on the sales side of it, we often get together and trade shows and the like. And again, maybe the folks that I've known for many years, we're often saying that there's not a lot of people that are coming into the manufacturing sales or distributor sales and building material products. And quite frankly, it's a fascinating industry. It's changing rapidly. If you want to work hard in the building materials industry, whether it's at the retail level, the distribution level, or the manufacturing level, there is a position available for you today, whether you're a guy or a gal. There's great opportunities out there for us in this industry, and we need. You can make a career out of it. I never thought, like I said, in the beginning of the conversation, I just had thought all those years ago that I would start at the Bethlehem Steel and, be retired by now. But no, I'm glad that it didn't work out that way, because I'm really having a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun. I've met a lot of people. I've had a lot of unique experiences. Throughout my career and places I've traveled and done projects in and the like. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're a little grateful that you didn't go the steel route. We wouldn't be sitting here today. So
they closed up a long time ago. So maybe I would have found my way back here, but
one way or another.
One way or another, yeah. Interesting how that all that changes, right?
Yeah, the steps you take. Well, I really enjoyed speaking with you today. This has been a great conversation, and enjoy that beautiful fall over there in Pennsylvania. I'm a little jealous. I'm sure the trees are spectacular. Just
starting to, and I know you're deep in the heart of Texas. There, we have some. My son-in-law's from Texas. My daughter lived in Texas for 5 years, and they just recently moved back to Pennsylvania. But his mother had come to town over the long weekend, and we were outside on Sunday, and it was in the upper 50s. Because this is cold.
Yeah.
So no, this is beautiful.
After 120.
Yeah, exactly. I think was that the seventh circle?
It was the seventh circle of hell for quite a while here in Texas, but we're all better for it somehow, I'm sure.
Yes, indeed. So. Well, Laura, thank you so much for the opportunity to chat with you today. I really enjoyed the time we spent, and look forward to chatting with you again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. This was a great conversation.
Thank you for listening to the Spec Shaman podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to our show and leave us a review. The Spec Shaman podcast is produced by Laura Elliott and Brad Blank. A huge thank you to our guests who made this show possible. Building product manufacturers who want to increase their specification opportunities, please visit specshaman.com or ronblank.com. Thanks all for this episode, folks. See you next time.